Hello everyone, welcome to Gaming with Ben Marco. I'm doing a video right now that I wanted to do for quite some time, and I've just never gotten around to doing it, which is a look back at Destiny again now that the Taken King has come out. It actually came out a while ago, and the next expansion, Rise of Iron, actually releases tomorrow, so I wanted to get this out of the way before Rise of Iron comes out so I can compare the changes a bit more freshly with Rise of Iron compared to the changes they made in the Taken King, because there were quite a few. There's a reason I'm starting in the tower, is because one of the things they did in the Taken King, which was great, in my opinion, is that normally if you got rid of a ship, or a weapon, or a bike, or your spare speeder bikes, you would have to find it and reacquire it if you wanted it back. Now, if you've ever owned a specific ship, or specific weapon, an exotic one, for example, or a specific bike, you can now get them back at any time you want from these two shops in the tower. This one gives bikes, this one gives your ships back. They're both in the hangar, they're both very easy to find, they're giant iPad glowing things, and they're kind of, frankly, bleeding obvious. If you don't notice these, then odds are, no offense, you're probably blind. And you probably shouldn't be playing video games anyway. If you're blind, I don't mean to discriminate, but if you can, good for you. I want to see how that works. I'm genuinely curious. But yeah, you can get your stuff back anytime. That's really, really nice. Another thing they changed, which I'm going to go into my inventory for, is how you upgrade stuff, which, how they did it is great. Because a lot of the time, if you found a better weapon or just a flat better piece of gear, you would have to discard it, and you wouldn't really be able to put much use into it. All that gear you invested wouldn't have been worth it. Now, however, on a lot of the higher end items, they did something really neat. I'm going to go into my sniper rifle here. By that, I accidentally mean exit the menu. You can infuse an item. I don't have anything I can infuse right now, but the option is, say, if you have a weapon you particularly like, but found a weapon with a higher attack power, you can, again, infuse it. That infuses the higher weapon into the lower weapon, and grants the weaker weapon that, is the one that gets the infusion into it increases its attack power to whatever the one you used to infuse with was. So you can keep weapons going for as long as you want. If you find a gun you like and you're particularly attached to, just keep it. If you'll eventually be able to upgrade it to be on the same level as everything else. That's great. That's amazing. Because there's a whole bunch of guns that I loved but I couldn't use. Unfortunately, the downside is this doesn't carry over from a lot of the Year 1 gear. This only applies to weapons released in the Taken King. I'll go to my vaults here so I can show you, actually. Where is it? Access my vault. Someone got an exotic. I didn't see what it was. For example, if I go to... Where is... Found Verdict. It doesn't have the infuse option. All it does is Ascend, which makes it the highest available in Year 1. Now, I haven't actually had the chance to use Ascend on a weapon yet. I have absolutely no luck at all when it comes to finding Etheric Light. None. So, this might increase to... That might increase it so it's possible where it can be infused. But I highly doubt it. So... That's just my assumption. I doubt it, and I have never had any luck with it. But from what I've heard, that is not the case, so it doesn't apply to Year 1 weapons, which sucks, since there's a lot of really cool Year 1 weapons. But, again, that's just me. Fortunately, they are bringing back a whole bunch of Year 1 exotics from the original version of Destiny and a whole bunch of other expansions that weren't brought back up in the Taken King into Rise of Iron. One of which is my personal favorite gun in the game, Thorn. I love this gun. Again, this is stuff from Rise of Iron. It's not out yet, so I'm not going to go into any detail about it now. Not important. So, that's just a side note. Second comparison is you actually got a new area to explore in the Taken King. The Dreadnought. And a whole bunch of new story stuff and Kingsfall, which I have still yet to do, to be honest. So I'm just going to show you a quick view of that. We'll keep talking about it. Overall, a lot of the changes are under the surface. There were a whole bunch of overt changes. The story quality improved massively. There was a lot more NPC chatter, a lot more dialogue between off-screen characters and cutscenes, a whole bunch of other stuff. A whole bunch more plot points came into view, which is neat. I love that. It's really cool. They expanded the story a huge amount. It was really, really nice. And I really hope we see more of that in Rise of Iron. And we're probably going to from the trailers, which is amazing and great. Also, Taken King introduced melee weapons, namely swords, which are fun because, I mean, it's a giant sword. I don't have any ammo for mine right now. I'm gonna try and get some. So yeah, that's fun. Why would you not want a sword? I mean, that's awesome. You get a giant sword, you can stab people with it. It's great. I mean, admittedly, you're trying to stab people with a giant sword in a first-person shooter type game, so yeah, take that at a grain of salt. So take that as you will. But I think it's cool. They are actually seeming to be going farther with it, though, because as you've seen from some of the Rise of Iron trailers, you're actually going to get a giant axe, which I'm very much looking forward to. I'm going to be very upset if you can't actually get it, because that's technically false advertising. I will be pissed. So please actually let us get the axe. Begging to hear. I know I'm not the only one who's hoping that that's not just teaser shit. So, fingers crossed on that one. But yeah, there's a new enemy type introduced in the Taken King, which I don't know if I can trigger right now, called, obviously, the Taken. Evil, demonic versions of the other races, which are pretty neat. So, they can show up randomly from time to time on other planets and other areas in the system, but I'm assuming that may be taken out when the Rise of Iron launches, since that was sort of a Taken King launch event, you know, thing that was going on there. And what Destiny does a lot of the time, and has done so far, is when a new patch is going on or new stuff has been released, they're going to have something pertaining to that as a new field event. So my guess is the Taken randomly showing up in certain areas are going to be removed, and we're going to get something from the Rise of Iron, which, again, is out tomorrow, so new stuff. I'm not even seeing the stuff now, so they may have possibly removed it already, which is a shame, because I would love to show you from Taken right now. There's some of the creepiest things in the game, by far. But if not, well, I'll probably have another opportunity to show them to you when I'm covering Rise of Iron. So, something to look out forward to then. I know that there's going to be a new area in Rise of Iron, a whole bunch of new plot stuff, a new enemy sub-faction. It's going to be neat. So, that's going to be fun. I keep getting sidetracked. Anyway, some of the new stuff also in the Dreadnought is that over there is the arena. You can actually call in enemies to fight you if you have runes. I'm not going to do it right now because it's best done with a party, and they are tough enemies that a lower, like, I'm not super low level, but a lower strength player like me shouldn't be dealing with. So I'm not gonna go it alone as much as I want to show that to you. Later on, I'll see if I can grab some of my friends who still play Destiny, and I can show it to you. This is some cool stuff. So that'd be something fun to later. Just if I get some hands on some runes and neat things. Can I trigger it? Oh no, this event doesn't look like it's going anywhere either. You think they would at least keep it going on the Dreadnought? Oh, fingers crossed. I'm still trying to find something to show you guys. Right. Also, Taken King that I wanted to bring out were some of the new classes that were introduced in it. The class that I'm actually playing is one of the 3 new ones, Shadow Stalker, a hunter variant, which specializes in, well, it's the only one of the 3 hunter subtypes that doesn't explicitly feature offense. It's more of a support type character, as opposed to the Gunslinger, which is gunslinger, and the Blade Dancer, which is a cloaky offensive character that uses melee attacks. So this character specializes in, dodge rolling. I have a smoke bomb, and I can summon an energy wall with a grenade that'll block off enemies' paths and hurt them if they try to go through it. So it's a bit more defensive, a bit more support than the other 2. Ooh, look, Taken. What is she taking now? Taken have a whole bunch of neat new abilities. That one can summon turrets, one of them can turn invisible, another kind can actually split into 2, which is really annoying. Yes, they can summon ships in here. No, I don't know why. So a whole bunch of new abilities. The Stormcaller, which is the new Warlock one, is really cool. It's probably my second favorite out of the 3. Not my most favorite, because I'm a Hunter player. Their ultimate is literally just turning into Emperor Palpatine. They can hover, they can teleport, they can shoot lightning out of their hands. It's actually pretty fun and really cool. The second that it became available, I will not lie, I made my Hunter one, my Warlock one. It's such a neat little class. Because, lightning! They're very offensive. They have a whole bunch of stuff that just drops lightning on people's heads. Their melee attack is literally just shooting, literally just a facepalm that shoves lightning in the enemy's head. It's really kind of cool. The last one is probably my least favorite, which is a shame, because Titans are cool, but I personally don't like Titans a whole lot. I don't like the heavy armor metal classes that much. I mean, it's a great class. One of my friends uses it. It's really, really neat. I just personally don't like it all that much. is... I think it's... frick, I can't even remember the name. Hammer of Soul, Firebringer. One sec, I actually have to look it up, and I'm embarrassed by this. Let's see. Basically, the third Titan class is literally just they can summon a giant flaming hammer. It's pretty cool. They can throw it at people. It hurts like hell. And it's really neat. But it gives them another offensive thing. Admittedly, they did need a fire-type class. So Sunbreaker, that was it, Sunbreaker. They needed another offensive type class because they had one support, one offensive. So making the fire type the offensive one was nice and a very cool idea. They basically, again, their special ultimate summons a hammer that they just smack people around with and can throw in people's faces, which is really cool. But I just don't like playing as a Titan. I just don't. I mean, it's fun and all to punch things. It is. But I personally don't like using the class. I just never got into it. I apparently can't jump over a wall either. My god. I can't jump over a wall. I just fail. I suck. Oh well. They added a whole bunch of new... Ow. They added a whole bunch of new strikes too. One of which, my personal favorite of the ones they added was Sunless Cell, which was really, really neat. It's not that long. It takes like 15 minutes, 20 minutes if you have a good team. And a lot of people tend to rush through it because it's pretty easy and fun strike. Well, pretty easy. I'm probably one of the people who actually finds it fun. Because the main goal is to get to the end, and you drop down into this little pit, and you fight the boss. Okay, you fight the boss in an enclosed space. Nothing new. The thing is, the enclosed space is pitch black, and you can barely see anything aside from enemies that are glowing. Which is... I like that. It's a really cool, neat little aesthetic. Because the enemy, the boss himself, will constantly reappear and disappear throughout the fight, and it makes it really hard to keep track of the guy. And for reference, the boss is like, I think he's like 10 to like 12, if not like 20 feet tall. He's huge. So basically, you're fighting this 20-foot tall disappearing guy who keeps stepping in and out of your field of view like he's a goddamn ghost. It's really, really neat that something that big can just evade you so easily, and it's really cool. They also modified a whole bunch of the old strikes to have the Taken interfere, and it messes with something showing up, and it actually, you know, prevents certain objectives. It could change the entire objective in one part of the mission. And it's cool because they're just willing to change old gear like... not old gear. Old missions like that just so radically and so drastically. Now, are they going to do the same thing with the Rise of Iron? I'm hoping. Because that was a great addition. It was a really cool addition. Just a whole bunch of new stuff that you weren't expecting can randomly just show up and start screwing with you. For no other reason than because it felt like at that particular point in time. Screw these guys because I'm a jerk. That was the Hunter Ultimate Shadow Bow. It's really, really fun. I love using it. It's just... It pierces an enemy. It forces them to move slower, and it can attach to nearby enemies as well. I have it set, so if I do that, it will drop orbs of light for my allies to use, which they can use to charge their ultimates faster, which in turn lets them use them faster, generate more orbs of light to let me yada 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 yada. You get the idea. I don't need to explain that. So yeah, I do hope they do more stuff like that, because I think that was great. I would love to see more of that, and I would love to see just more cool stuff in general. I would like to see more creative gear. They have the ability to customize their gear's color to a degree. You can use lights, and obviously you can use the old shader system that's still there, which is nice, but, I mean, it still sometimes looks like you're wearing a walking circus display. Some of the armors just do not match well, even with shaders, to be honest. So, a little more conformity would be nice so we don't look quite as ridiculous. That's all I ask. I mean, am I expecting a huge amount? Nah, it's not a big deal. It's a minor thing at best. Like it, but I'm definitely not going to ask for it. Get out of my face. So, that's just that thing. The weapons, I've got no comments or complaints about the weapons. The exotics are nice and interesting, the new ones. For example, I'm using Ace of Spades, which I have fallen in love with as basically my replacement for Thorn until I can get a hold of it. And I am very much trying to get a hold of it, so that's going to be nice. That kind of stuff. So I really hope they keep coming with the interesting exotics, anything new or neat or fancy. I know the exotics aren't always necessary. There's plenty of legendaries that, cover for exotics just fine. I've got a scout rifle I can use. I just prefer using Ace of Spades. So, I really hope they keep coming with the interesting exotics, some really cool stuff. Maybe enhance a few of the old ones like they did from the shift from Standard to the Taken King. Would love to see some buffs there. Would love to see a different version of, well, for example, Ace of Spades. See what they come up with there. Change versions of some of the other weapons in the game. Maybe actually give No Land Beyond a buff so it's even half usable. I know that one's kind of praying out the window, but I love that gun. It's not good, but I do love it. Would be nice. But no, yeah, that's just me. A whole bunch of new elements, a whole bunch of new stuff to explore. And that's really my 2 bits. Story was a huge improvement. They added a whole bunch more stuff. I can't really think of anything they messed with when it came to the Taken King. I would say overall improvements across the board. Okay, that was a message I wasn't expecting. Probably going to reboot soon, start preparing for Rise of Iron. Hell yeah. So that's going to be nice. Can't wait for that. Can't wait for that to come out. Can't wait for tomorrow. I will try to get some coverage of Rise of Iron as soon as possible, because that would be very nice to get. Because I know there's a lot of people out there who want it to come out. I do have it pre-ordered. I'm all set for it. And that's going to be nice, because I can't wait to see what kind of shiny stuff we get in Rise of Iron. That's going to be a fun thing to get. So, excited about that. I can't wait for tomorrow to happen. After work, I'm going to get right on Rise of Iron and get right to researching. See what I can find out and see what I can do. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. And I will see you guys there. Have a good day. This has been Online with Ben Marco.